G'day, my name's Pete, and today I'm going to be working on the three trees that I worked on for last week's video. So I've got the cuttings that I took off of it that I'm going to turn into a tree, and I've let the cuts dry out for a week, and they're nice and dry and dead now. So I'm going to now pot it. Now the mix I'm using is it's let's say, I only guess, I don't measure, but I'd say it's 60% soil and 40% volcanic rock, crushed rock. Now the reason I'm only using that mix is because I'm running out, and two, it's got no roots at all, and I'm happy for it to just grow roots in a more soil content. Now I'm just going to readjust this camera a touch because I want you to be able to see into the pot as best as you can. So what I do is I get CDs. Right now, depending on the size of the piece, the trunk, whether I use one CD or multiple CDs layered, but basically what I'm going to do is plant that like that on the CD in the pot. The reason for it is it's going to force the roots to all spread out. Some will go down the centre hole, and I can cut that off as it'll be like a tap root, but I can cut that off, no worries. But majority will just spread out around the disc before they go into the soil more. The reasoning for that is for a flat base to the tree. Now I'm burying it nice and deep, so I'm basically going to use the soil to hold it in place for the next probably 3 months, at least 3 months, before I feel it's got enough roots to go do any more work on it. So I'm going to just get myself a scoop. I'm going to hold that there onto my CD and just fill her up. Compress it down a bit. And if I have to, I'll put bricks around it just to hold it steady, which I think it's going to need it. It seems like it's going to fall over on me. We still can get more soil in there yet. It's not too bad now. Might be alright. I mean, as long as I don't muck around with it, it'll now stay out of the weather. I'll keep it under cover. I won't water it for the next until I see new growth come on it. When I start seeing new growth, then I'll start watering it and putting it. Maybe I'll probably give it a little bit longer before I put it out in weather. I still don't want it to get root rot. So there's that. Now I thought what I'll also do is I'll trim it a bit. So I do like this as the front of the tree. I do like this. But what I'm going to do is I get rid of what I don't want. And I can see what I don't want is this one here. Get rid of that. And I could maybe wire that down like that, but we'll shrink it. Alright, we'll wire them down like that, and that'll be a nice little branch. This one here is on top, and it's no good. It's just growing up too much. Get rid of that. Another branch here that's growing in an awful spot. That can go. Let me just spin it around and have a look. I think maybe that one could go. So we'll get rid of that. Alright. Bottom dweller, don't want that. Now, I've been looking at this over the week, trying to decide what I do want to do with it, and I think I've been looking at this bit here, and this is nice size trunk, branch, but I don't like it up here for, I don't know, I mean, it's all got the same thickness all along, and I don't like that. But this bit here, going downwards, will give that a nice, nice look, I think. So I'm going to cut that bit off and let this be the main branch. So we're going to cut that off. Actually, I might use different cutters. Use these cutters, I think. Alright. So yeah, so now this will go up, and I like this now. It's going to have nice shape, and it's got some taper now. I'm going to keep all that. We'll see what happens with growth from them. This one here is growing straight up and ugly. We'll cut that right back, see if any new growth will come there. That'll be alright. And this one here might be alright, but I think it's got to be small, kept small. So we might cut it back to there. That'll be a bottom dweller, if I keep that. I'm not sure if I'm keeping that. That's all got to go. It's growing upwards. This particular branch may end up going, because it's in fact I'll get rid of it now. It's not doing any good. for the tree as far as how it looks. And that's about all the cutting I'm going to do. I'm going to bend that down like that. I will cut these back like so. And we'll wire that down like that, and we'll see how that looks. And there you go. That's all I'm doing for that. And over time, we'll see how it looks. I think actually I could wire it. We'll leave it and see. I also like having a bit of growth on it after it's been trimmed up. And we'll just keep watching it, wait for seeing new growth, and then we'll start watering. So that's that one. We'll put that aside. Okay, so now I'm going to do this cutting. I'm going to use 2 CDs this time because it's a bigger base of the tree. So I think I can get away with 2 CDs. So what I do is I put one so it covers the holes they're both covering, so there's less chance of them growing down. If I can, I will, you know. I'll put them in there. And I'll set this tree, let me turn it around. So this tree I'm going to set right on an angle because I want it to come up, and this being the main focus of this tree, this branch up here. So I'm going to do that, plus I can lean it here and help hold it. It will help support it while it has this time to grow roots. Alright, now before I do that, I'll just get the soil. I'll move those CDs just a little bit further over one side. Because of the angle of the base, that looks good. Especially for now. I mean, it's only just to hold it. It's got no roots. It's just going to leave it, let it settle 3 months. And even 3 months is probably not long enough. 3 months I'll have roots. Whether they're, you know, good enough to be mucking around with the tree too much, I wouldn't think so. Now this one I think is going to need a brick or 2. And I should have got them organised before I started, because I don't think I've got any near me. Going to make this a little bit awkward. yes, it's definitely going to need a brick. Now, where are they? I took all the bricks I had near me, used them up already. Alright, I'm just going to hope it stays there while I get a brick. Okay, so I've got a brick, and I'm just going to use it on this side, just to help hold it in place. Just a touch. Now this tree is also, I've been looking at it over the week, trying to decide what's going to go and what's going to stay. I think I want this, but I like this bit here. The same story with the other one, where there's more taper. It's a lot smaller, and it will take a lot longer for new growth to come out there. But it will look better, I think, than this long, straight, solid piece that I can't do much with. So I'm going to get rid of that piece, and I'm going to leave that. Okay. I'll just cut that off because it looks dead anyway. And hopefully I get new growth come out here, and then I'll have a nice little branch, because you got to remember I've got a lot of this buried, which is what I do all the time. I bury it deep. This branch back here, it could be a nice little branch for the tree, so we're going to keep it for the time being. We don't want it to get too much bigger, so we'll just trim it back. So all it's going to do now is just grow, give me some new growth. It's a good way for me to know when there's new growth. If you've got so much growth on it, it gets a bit hard to know, oh, is that new growth or is that just something I've not trimmed? So, but anyway, there you go, that's all right. I still like this as the front of my tree for the time being. And with that, I think this one here can go, this branch, because it is growing on top. I've decided on keeping the one out the back. The reason I don't want to keep this branch anymore is because I did think it was nice, but it's growing too much over this way, where there's already a nice branch and growth. Whereas this one here has got some growth going out, just nice out the back, which I think is more preferable to me. So we're going to lob that off. Like so. Okay. This is way too long. I don't like the handlebars, but I've got a lot of growth going out the back, so I sort of feel like I need some growth out the front. So I think this branch could help with that, but we'll shrink it right back. And let all new growth come, and we'll see what we do with it, if it's any good. I don't like the handlebars. I mentioned in the last week's video about how there's a handlebars here. Well, I don't like that. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think I want it, so I'm going to get rid of that. Just trim that back further too. Okay, so yeah, we'll use wire and try and hold that. Now my last sort of decision, well, not my last one, but one of my next decision is these two branches. and both of these branches have nice growth on them. This one comes up and then goes down. It's got a nice bend to it. So I actually think that one is a better branch than the one underneath, which is more straight. This bottom branch is just coming out straight. So I think I like this look better. So I'm going to get rid of this branch here. Alright, and then all these are upward growth to too much going straight up, so we're going to trim all them back. We'll see what happens with them. This branch here is probably too close to the trunk if this is my main branch here, so it probably can go. Now I've weeded it down a fair bit. We'll just trim it all down a touch. Oh, pardon me. Alright, I mean that can be twisted, like, you know, to give this growth out here. If I need it or want it, it's a little bit too long, so I'm gonna bring it in. Same with that one. Straight up, no go. It might be too long this way as well, but for now I'm going to leave it. See what sort of new growth I get on it. And that's that branch. Now what next? Just spinning it around, having a look at different angles. I do like that branch there, but I do like this branch here as well. You know, it's like I said, there's so much character to this tree, so many choices on what I could do with it, which is fantastic for, you know, for me. It's just whether I make the right choice. Who knows? Bottom dwellers, don't need them. Still looking and deciding. We're getting to the nitty gritty now. We want to make sure we have a nice tree. Maybe there I'll cut it. I'll cut it here, and that can be like the new leader or not, because it's all actually quite long now. This is getting quite long. So do I want it at all? It is a nice branch, but so is this little one. and I can cut it right back here and maybe have another branch that grows that could be better than this along here. I think so. Like I believe it's too big, like proportions of the tree. I think this might be too big. So we're going to cut it right back. Alright, so we'll see what happens with that. Straight up, no go. Let's spin this around this way. We'll wire them to get some nice shape out of it there. Now it's just a matter of this mess here. I think if I get rid of this one, and keep this one, we could be alright with keeping that one. Yep, reckon so. So off comes that. Alright, I'm not going to go any further. I'm going to leave it like that. So we've minimised it, and we'll just see what growth we get and what we do with it for future. This one, I'm iffy about this one. But anyway, there you go. That's the tree. That's the trimming of and potting and final trimming of that trade tree. And so what I thought I'd do now is get the last one, which is already in a pot, and I'm going to rake the roots out and repot it in the same pot, just because it's been in that same pot for, like I said, for 19 years odd. We don't, we want to give it the best chance. So I think I'll do that as well next for the next tree. Well, it's all part of the same tree, isn't it? So I don't know if it's right, but so for aging, the original was 19 years, 3 months old, growing up the back. So these are cuttings off of it. So the way I look at the aging is you got the main tree growing, and then every branch takes so long to grow. Branch like this took a few years, to grow along with the rest of the tree. So I would say I'd be inclined to go with this tree being from the other one, around 7 to 10 years old. It's had 7 or 10 years worth of growth in it, I believe. So I would, that's how I judge the age of a tree. So I'm going to, I'd say this tree is maybe 10 years old. Let's go with that. Because it's now its own little tree, isn't it? Going to grow on from now. But anyway, I'll come back with the next tree.